So it's winter, and there's more snow coming. That's gonna, or could possibly close down your highways. Do you have enough food in your pantry to survive for a couple days? What if it's such a bad storm that the interstates are actually closed down for a couple days? Because my husband's a truck driver, and he can tell you that can absolutely happen.
It did about 7 or 8 years ago.
So if those trucks can't get through to the stores to bring supplies, the stores won't even have any. So you need to have something, I would say at least for a week, at the very least, enough for 3 to 4 days. Let me tell you how. Now, there's 2 different ways of having a extended pantry. You can have a working pantry, which means you always have extra. But with that working pantry, you are constantly using it and eating from it. And when you buy new, you stick that towards the back. That's the way the stores do as well whenever they stock. They pull their old forward and put the new in the back. So that way the expiration date is put on your food for a reason. However, a lot of items are well past that date, still okay to eat. I have a video on that. I will link it in the description below. So, let's say you're on an extreme tight budget. Johnny and I are. So, he brings in the income from his job. I bring in extremely small income from the pay that I get from Facebook. I sell Avon online, and I'm trying to get monetized with my YouTube videos, but that hasn't happened yet. So, extreme tight budget. What do you do in cases like that? Well, you can use the 10% strategy rule. So let's say your budget's $50 to go. Let's go with 100. So let's go. Your budget is $100 a week for groceries. You take 10% of that $100, which is $10, and you buy something to put in extended pantry usage, such as 5 pounds of rice, 5 pounds of beans, something that's going to last for a while that you can eat on. You can always get the tortillas. You can use what you make, like pinto beans, and you eat those however you eat them. You can always then mash them, warm them up, and use them for bean burritos. So get your flour tortillas and put them in the freezer. They will last for up to 6 months to a year in the freezer, as long as they are sealed completely. Some say shopping in the international aisle is actually cheaper to pick up beans and rice and any other things that you would like, or the tortilla shells and those kind of items. So check out your international aisles. So let's start with the core 4 survival foods. Do you have any idea what those are? The first one, not any particular order, but whatever. So the first one I have on my list is your high calorie to dollar ratio and the longest shelf life. At this point, you're going to ignore complex recipes and you're going to focus on fueling your body. So the first one is carbohydrates. That's your bulk food. It's going to make your belly feel full. But as we get down to the proteins, that's where it's going to stay longer. But so with your carbohydrates, you have white rice. It's cheaper and it lasts longer than brown rice, which the brown rice will go rancid if you try to store it long storage because of the oil content that it has. Second that I have is rolled oats, which is the cheapest for breakfast, and also be ground into oat flour for baking. Worst comes to worst. Next I have dry pasta, which is a high calorie density and morale boosting. And then you have your proteins, which is your sustenance. So you have dry beans and lentils, which are much cheaper than the can, because the lentils actually require no soaking and can cook in 20 minutes. Saves on cooking gas and electric. Your other dry beans, again, I mentioned earlier, such as your pinto beans, your navy beans, northern beans, great northern beans, limas, the butter beans, same thing as a lima, I think. Well, people say they're not. I say they are. But anyway, so I like to soak them overnight, but if you have an Instapot, you don't have to. You can also add a little bit of baking soda in that, and that will prevent the gas in your belly. So a little tip there for that. Peanut butter is one of the cheapest sources of calories and fat available, and it's no cooking required. And most people like peanut butter, and it's full of protein. Your fats to have stored would be your vegetable oil or lard. At this point, if it's survival food, you're not worried about what it has in it. If you are, hey, I'm happy for you. At this point, for survival food, I would not be. So your flavor, you want to make sure that you have spices. That's going to be your morale. You don't want foods that you cook that has no taste to it. I have 8 people's food who do not use spices of any kind. And it was a miracle to even get through the meal and pretend like, oh, this is so good. Okay, we gotta go. Because you gotta go somewhere and eat because you're starving. Because it's nasty. I'm sorry. Am I wrong? So, salt lasts forever as long as it is stored somewhere cool and dry. Dry is your main thing because salt will clump. You want to have bouillon cubes to make flavor with. So I actually use bouillon cubes in my green beans when I cook them. I cook bouillon cubes in with them and the little dried onions. And they are, everybody loves my green beans when I cook them that way, don't they? Little minced onions. People just rave about it. They love them. And the bouillon cubes is cheaper than the liquid broth. And as long as you keep them in a cool, dry place, guess what? They'll last forever. Turns rice and all your other foods into a savory, tasty meal. A couple more things on the list for these spices you would like to have. My next video, by the way, is going to be shelf life of spices. So make sure you catch that one as well when it comes out. But I have on this one for hot sauce, soy sauce, things like that to give extra flavor. We don't need hot sauce. A lot of people do. Alright, your zero cost storage solutions. Remember, this is on a budget. This is on an extreme tight budget. So for storage, you can use dry pop bottles. Once they're empty, you wash them out really well and let them dry out 100% completely dry, or whatever you put in there is going to run. But once they're dry, you can use a funnel and you can fill these up with beans or rice, and that's going to feed at least 2 people 1 meal for beans and rice together in these. So it's pretty much rodent proof if you have them in a cabinet or somewhere especially, but rodents can get through this, but bugs will not. You can save your jars from your other items such as spaghetti sauce, mayonnaise, mustard, anything that comes in a jar, whether it's plastic or glass. If you live out in the country like we do and you could have rodents, which we do in the winter because we're in the middle of a cow field and nobody's going to stop that from happening. So a glass might be your better solution, you think? And we also have 5-gallon buckets out in our cottage up in the storage shelf. So things, okay, ice falling off the car, I guess. So we have an extra protection in those 5-gallon buckets. So how can you get food for free? Well, if you're on an extreme tight budget and you have proof of that, then head up your food banks. That's what they are there for. Food banks, food pantries, and churches, Catholic churches, different churches, and organizations do give out food, especially at Christmas time. So sign up for those programs. They have senior programs as well. But you can also use that food and that to add to your pantry. Hit up your Dollar General stores, your Dollar Trees, any of the cheaper branding stores. You can get your spices there cheaper, your beans there cheaper. Sometimes you can get frozen veggies. Don't forget to utilize your freezer. Sometimes you can get a $1.25 bag of rice, and it's more expensive per pound. So just be careful of how you're spending. Check out your prices. Do your research before you buy. If you qualify for food stamps, there is absolutely, positively no shame in it whatsoever. Go apply for those food stamps and feed your family. No shame in it. And if you don't tell anybody, nobody's going to know. And even so what? Who cares? There's no shame in it. If somebody is working in your household and you just can't afford food and you need extra help, you need extra help. God will provide for you. All right, that's all I have for now. Hope it wasn't too boring. I hope it was informative. We love you. Remember to always be beautiful. Bye for now.
Peace out.